Welcome, everyone. This is Barry Jones from the Angel School. And today I'm bringing to you information that was shared with me by the angels in my meditation. And I've been seeing these arcs, like the Arc de Triomphe in Paris, and there's one here, I think, in Manhattan, Washington Square Park. And the only thing that I could tell, and I could always see sort of like a road, sort of a path that goes up, that leads into it, and then once it goes through it, the path seems to like be going up a hill. And so the one thing that I knew when I started to see them is that they represented the Ascension path. What I've been getting about it more and more, and very clearly yesterday, is that these are portals, okay? And they are portals for the Ascension. And yesterday I always see different things in these little visions I get. They have a symbolic meaning, a general one, but then they also seem to, different things will happen. And when I'm reading for a client, or each client, if and when it comes up, it may be slightly altered or similar. But what came up yesterday was that I saw these sort of curtains, like the veils, right? And they were blowing in the wind. So it was like, and it's almost sort of an invitation to, be curious, right? And to go through. And they could represent the veil of illusion that has been separating us from this, the third, from the fifth dimensional frequencies. But they did something kind of peculiar because they started talking about a person that I knew and started giving me information, showing me the arc, and then indicating that this person was safe. And then they showed me another person that I knew, and they were indicating to me that there was a contrast in these two people. One is that the other person is focused in a higher frequency. You could call it positive, but they're just focused. They're working towards their path. They're not stagnating, and they're in the ascension process. And so, within this arc of triumph, the ascension energies are there, and there was this champagne gold, or maybe a white gold. So here is like I don't know if this is going to come out well, but the white gold dragons from Lyra. And this is a very high frequency dragon, and the pool of Christ energies. It's a ninth dimensional frequency. Okay, so it says it connects you to the highest Christ light. Now, also, I was guided because in my daily meditations, and I don't want this to be too long, I usually work with a crystal, and for the week, dragon, an ascended master, and I have my daily card draw, and then I just, as I'm working, I get different angels and things during the week as well. But this energy, this champagne. So the crystal that I was card that I drew this week. Sometimes I'll see the name of the crystal, but this time I pulled the card and I got topaz. But that's when they wrote champagne topaz. So they want us to work with this very high frequency of light, of Christ light. So all the Christ light is golden. Now, we've been working with, since April 1st, and you may have seen me write about this in the daily card messages on Facebook or YouTube. And I may have mentioned in one of the videos recently about the yellow rays that were coming through. So before, when the coronavirus first started, it was the pale blue, and I did that meditation. You can find posted on YouTube. And so a few days before the 1st of April, I was told about the yellow rays, and that we'd be working with this ray of light of consciousness. And I can't remember all the details about it right now. I did write it down, and I forgot to put it in front of me. But there's a writing for April 1st that has some information about that. It may not have all of it, but it has some of it for now. And what came to me about yesterday was this champagne or white gold energy. And ever since the first, what the energies have been doing is that yellow, I think it was the pale yellow, is working with bringing in the frequency of hope. So, on April 1st, they were bringing us this new frequency of hope to boost our health, because and what I'm about to present to you is, it's not a cure, right? But the real cure is here. Basically where the mind is focused. Because where your mind is focused, the rest of your body is listening and creating around that focus. And I'm not talking about the details. I'm talking about what a collection of thoughts and ideas and worry and concept will sort of create a general vibration or frequency at which your body is now adhering to. Because this energy, this frequency, this concentration of focus is what your body and your reality is always responding to. I'm thinking, because I want to see how far do I want to go into this information about that, what I just said. So what I meant by that, because you're probably like, what does he mean by that? I think many of you probably know what I mean, but some of you probably know what I mean and don't want to know what I mean, and some of you really don't know what I mean. So our reality is truly the experience of what we are focused upon. So we're attracting different things, and we're experiencing different things. We're perceiving, is even better to focus upon. We're perceiving things in such a way that this creates sort of a sense of what your life feels like. And that can be full of freedom or can feel like you're suffocating. And so I'll just go with it in that we'll just go to the point of how you can create this emotional reality based on your mental focus that will shape how the world looks and feels and is responding and reacting to you. And so this is very important, because your cells, to your cells, the voice of your mind is like the voice of God to it, because your body is an entire universe of life and energy that is creating and functioning as your system of health, right? So by focusing on, in a meditation, a ray of light, and they are each frequency. So, for instance, the pale yellow was, I said it already, but I'm going to forget. The pale yellow light was the frequency, bringing in the frequency of hope, as well as a whole host of healing, right? But around that, then in my own meditations, they went to the sunshine yellow, which they talked about, brought in this sort of freedom, this energy of freedom, like it's liberating you. Like, think of the sun card and that wall, and he's, over that wall, and now he's free reign. So, and today this champagne gold is, they wrote, bringing in, first of all, the consciousness of Jupiter, so abundance, right? And as you all know, Diana Cooper talks about the ascendant levels or aspect of Jupiter is called Jambe. So that you can connect in with that ascended aspect of that planet's abundance, frequency, and joy. And the Christ light, from my understanding, is not, it's not like the light of Jesus, but the Christ was a frequency of consciousness that Jesus was working with and bringing into the earth. He was the first to anchor these frequencies into our collective consciousness, and to help shift our karma and to help us to create on a new level, okay, of consciousness. So it's associated with him. This is what coming to me right now, is because he is the one who brought that in. But this Christ consciousness is way beyond any one particular being. Okay? He was Jesus, the Christ, meaning Jesus as he obtained the Christ. He was the one who obtained the Christ frequency, consciousness, while being in, embodying it in a human experience. The topaz, which is a pale yellow, the topaz crystal, which you can call in, and the powder yellow crystal brings in this energy of focus. Okay, they wrote focus and grace and love, but love is the base of all of these frequencies. Love is the foundation behind the everything, first of all, but it is the total foundation within the Ascension frequencies, the fifth dimension. And what they were guiding me to do, so one person that they gave me the example was a teacher, a teacher from high school. And I'm probably going to call her and give her some of the messages they gave me. And the other was a relative. And they wanted me to understand that some of us, because of the way we're focusing, or the way that we're living, so some of us are really resisting this foundation of ascension, and it's sort of, it's like the portals are there, but we're not walking through, we're not embracing them. In that portal was this champagne gold light, and that path, and the veils were blown open. So it gives me a sense that the veils of illusion are really just being blown open, right? This is a gift to our world. At this time, Jesus was a part of this. Ganesh and Jesus came through. And sort of Ganesh sort of held the space, opened sort of the space for the ceremony, and Jesus then came through and brought the healing and allowed for this so process to unfold, which I will do with you in just a few moments, and I don't think it's going to take very long at all. But they want you to be able to help and assist others with this as well. So again, I was talking about the mind thing, because you can place this sort of arc de triomphe around anyone that you are guided to. So if you think of someone, and what they were trying to tell me is that this is not the time for everybody to transition. There are some, but it's not time for everybody to transition. Some people, so basically you should check in with the soul, the higher soul of that person, to see if it is appropriate in their spiritual journey, in their, the lessons that they've come here to learn, to see if it's appropriate to place this over them. I would say if you see people who are really suffering from other things, sort of that are, really causing them to be very negative, and negatively focused, maybe they're acting out in ways that this would be really useful to them if it's in their best and highest good, which you have to ask. So please ask permission. I think that you don't have to worry if you're not able to find that out. If it's not appropriate, I'm confident that the angels will only allow you to do what is possible, meaning they're not going to withhold it from you, but they will just take care of it. So if you don't know what to do, you feel like, oh, I don't know if this is right, or I don't know how to get that kind of information from my angels or my guides, I can't perceive them, then just know that even the thought of the person and the intention to do it, they will handle the rest. They always do. Because you never work alone. You do everything as a team. That's why it's so important for us to start working like a real team on this planet. Because in the non-physical world, nothing happens by one person. It's not an I mission. It's always we. Right now, you have a team. I call your God team, your ascended God team. They are always with you, and they are always assisting you. And none of us has the power alone, but collectively, and each of all of these beings are empowered because of our unified connection with God. So it's, as they say, with God, all things are possible, right? So don't get all crazy about, can I not? Don't worry about that. All you have to do is request. That's the biggest part of your job, okay? And so, just looking to see if there's any other things that don't want to forget about this. They wrote Garmin, like the Garmin, I think that's the fitness watch, right? So I think what they were also indicating that doing things for being active, and I think our, Attorney General, I can't think of his title, but the General Surgeon of the U.S., mentioned this, and I think the World Health Organization leader also mentioned this too. So the angels were just confirming that. So really be physically active, because what does it feel like when you exercise? You may feel tired later, but while you're doing it, you really feel recharged and refreshed, and that raises your vibration. Okay, so this, and so just, so Jesus is going to work with us on this, and he said, I wrote, life energy creates happiness and abundance, and it's a gift for the Easter tide. All right, and so I'm going to ask you all now to take a deep breath with me. and to release any and all of your grief. They were showing me the Five of Cups yesterday. And so they would like for you first to connect with the planet Jupiter. So we're going to call upon Archangel Raphael to come and to touch your third eye and to connect it into oneness, they're writing. And so just relax and breathe. Allow yourself to be vulnerable. Surrender to God. Surrender to the love, the infinite love and mercy and grace that is being afforded to you now. And they're showing me a red rose. And they want you to know how much you are loved and how much you are cherished. And they want you to know that even now, God is holding you, hugging you, kissing you on your cheek, and just letting you know that everything is going to be all right. He's saying it's going to be different, but it's all going to be all right. And he's writing the angel number 100, which is about letting you know that you have a strong connection with him. And that you are always understood, you're being heard, and he knows that you sense him or her. And he's writing the name Alyssa. So whomever that may be, and there may be many Alyssas, and he's quite actually, well, he's able, let's put it that way, to communicate with all of the Alyssas at the same time, as we know that. He's omnipresent. And right now he's doing this, sharing this theme of love with you, so that you open your heart to the abundance of Jupiter, the frequency. So we're not worshiping the planet, but we're connecting in to the life. Just like our planet and our human consciousness has a frequency, so does the planet Jupiter and its life forms. And they have a connection with abundance. And if you just think the name Jumbe and say it 3 times, Jumbe, 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 you will connect in with the ascended frequencies. And this is now being connected, as Archangel Raphael has done for you, through your third eye chakra, your 5th dimensional chakra, to help you to furnish your mind and your vision with abundance, so that you can start creating abundance. They wrote the word gold, create an abundance of healing in all the ways that it's needed in your life. To heal, they're writing the word lack, to heal the sense of lack that you've been feeling. And they wrote the month of July, so I don't know what that means right now, but it could mean that maybe we see some kind of lifting in the month of July. And I'm not going to say specifically what it is because I don't know. I do remember that we were told in our earlier videos at the beginning of the year that would be the point of a turnaround before we had a sense of the coronavirus. But I'm not saying that there's going to be quarantine until then. I don't know, unless they tell me that. I'm not going to ask because I'm going to ask for what they want me to know and for you to know. And they wrote the word faithful. And I get a sense that this means that the faithful will turn this situation around. So exercise your faith. And your faith is being amplified and boosted through these types of energy connections or healings. No one can heal your body but you. And where you focus your mind, and this champagne topaz, I'm going to call in now the energy. You can call in the energy of a crystal even if you don't have it. With your mind, you can create any reality, and you do already. We're collectively creating this reality right now. So call in the champagne topaz crystal to be around you, and that this crystal will help you to focus your mind in abundance. It will help you to connect in with and align with the frequencies of the ascendant planet Jupiter, the Jumbe frequencies. And you can probably already feel it expanding your energy field, and you probably feel like a ball of light around you. And this will protect your mind every time you call it up from the pandemic. And that's where you want to quarantine your mind in a focus of healing and blessings and abundance. This quarantine of the mind will sustain your health along with the physical guidelines that have been given to us. But we must help this with our spiritual mind and heart. That's what this purpose is for. And now Jesus is stepping forward. And he's holding out his arms, stretched up high, palms facing the heavens, like wings of angels. And he's now summoning the hope of God and the love of God. He's drawing it down through his spiritual essence, and he's radiating it. And you can just see all of his robes. They are so plentiful. He's radiating out towards you, almost like a rose was coming out of his heart. And he's shining this champagne light into your cells, to the core of each and every one of your cells. And starting to feel the muscles in your body have a cooling, like a burning, cool sensation. I'm feeling this for a lot of people in the spine of your back, in the shoulder blades, and he's just flooding your body with this light. So just relax and breathe. You may feel energy sort of shifting around you fast. You may hear a sound. You may feel energy now on the back of your head as he's just touching all aspects of the brain. And he's working on the different systems of your body, bringing them into balance. And the robes are just flowing from his arms as he holds his arms out. And they're blowing in the wind. And this light of high frequency of Christ's light is glowing from behind him and flowing through him and past him to you. And Mother Mary is coming through as well. And the light of God is behind both of them. And now the portal opens and it's lined with angels, loved ones who've passed, guides, and all sorts of ascended beings. And they hold their arms up in the same direction towards the Arc of Triumph for you to walk through. And Jesus, along with God and Mary, are standing on the other side, waiting to embrace you. And just breathe as you go through. You're moving very slowly as you're just reaching the threshold of the arc. And your breath and your body relaxes as you let go and surrender. And there are angels above the arc. You're watched from all angles, and there's no one who does not have the desire, who has the desire to go through, who will not be assisted. And you fall to your knees in front of them, and Jesus helps you up, because you are not less than him, but one. So let go of these ideas that you are unworthy, because this doesn't work in abundance consciousness. This is the thing that holds this planet back, God says. It's because we think of ourselves as unworthy in relationship to God and any of the ascended beings that you pray to. You are not less than or worth less than any other, because we are all one within the light of God. And if there's anyone else at this time that you know is suffering in some way or struggling or having a difficult time, just know in this moment, you just ask permission. If it is thy will, if it is their time for ascension, then let it be, dear Lord. And if it is not their time, then we ask God and the angels to send extra support to them now. Each of the persons that you have concern about. And that we pray that they are able to have a shift, an invaluable shift that will help them to recognize how treasured they are by God and His love. And that they will ascend into the fold of oneness. And just take a moment and I just saw, because we're all surrounded, and I just saw three beings of light hovering, discussing something. And so this gives me a sense that they are working on other things that we need. And they might be for those people that we're praying for, discussing ways that they can be assisted that will not usurp their free will. So just know that they are on this and to let it go. Let it all go. Let everything go that's just been really difficult for you. Just let it all go and know. Let go of your judgments. Because when you release yourself from these judgments, you allow your vibration, your frequency to rise and soar to the focus of health and healing and abundance and security that you deserve. They want you to know that all the faithful are safe, and that this does not mean that if you do not consider yourself faithful, that you are not. You do not know truly who you are, and this is the problem. Authentically, you do not know who you are, they write, and you judge yourself. But you are all being faithful right now to who you need to be in order for things to happen and unfold as they should for the benefit of all and everyone's role, no matter what aspect of the spectrum they are performing is a part of the collective agreement to help us to ascend. So do not judge right from wrong, because we will be wrong every time about those that we are judging. This is a play, and the drama has a plot, and there are actions and reactions, causes and effects that need to unfold in order to bring forth the faithful into the fold of oneness and unconditional love and caring, to unity, to unify, so that we no longer work for ourselves, but we work for each other. God bless you all, and thank you for joining me.